So a couple years ago, I did a review on this. Now this is a third-party Nintendo Switch dock. I do not know if it is still being sold or not. But it happens to be my favorite Nintendo Switch accessory I have actually bought for my Nintendo Switch. Now, as you can see, mine does have the Splatoon 2 Joy-Cons on it. And those are my favorites. I do have my gray ones here on a charging dock. I just don't really use them because they have a really bad drift on them. But this is my favorite piece of Switch hardware or accessory that I've bought, and for many reasons. But one is that it actually keeps the console cooler versus the actual dock. Now, a couple years ago, I did a video on this specifically, compared to the official one that comes with the Switch itself, and the one that you can, and is also the official one that you can buy from Nintendo themselves. Now, this dock has a few drawbacks on it. One, the console is not that secure sitting in the dock. It does tend to wiggle and wobble in the dock. But as you can see by the construction here, there's not much to hold the Switch in. On the front here, there's not much holding the Switch in, as well as on the back here, which personally I do prefer because it allows the console to breathe. Whereas on the official one, it comes up to probably about this top bezel here, if not a little bit lower, and it surrounds the entire console, and the only thing sticking out of that dock is the Joy-Cons. And like I said, with this one here, you don't really have much, as you can see, as I'm shaking this forward and backward. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but my console is actually wiggling in the slot itself. Now, since this is designed to be used in the format of you're sitting at home, you're not going to really be noticing that. And that's one concern that I have had. Now, I don't remember which Switch update it was. I forget it was the 3 version, Switch OS 3 that came out, or it was a later one. I don't remember. I know it was one of the early ones that launched that was causing third-party docks like this one to actually brick the consoles themselves. Now, I haven't had my console brick yet, and I've been using this for over 2 years. Now, one issue I have had with this dock, and is one that I can look past because it's a simple fix. And it's that the Switch will not recognize this at all. It will not output to this device at all, and it will not charge, but it will recognize that it is connected via USB-C. Again, it will not charge and it will not output video. It will give you a warning saying cannot charge. And a simple fix that I have found with this, and let me grab a cable here, is you have it plugged in. All you have to do is unplug it from the back of the dock and then plug it back in, and the Switch will pick it up, recognize it, and you can go about playing your game or watching or doing whatever you do on your Switch. Another easy fix is if you can reach this part of the plug easily, you just got to pull this part out from the wall and plug it back in. Now again, the simple fix for that issue is literally disconnect this dock from the power source. You do not. You can unplug and plug your Switch in as many times as you want possible. That will not fix the error, and it's the only issue I've had with this dock. Now, the I/O on this dock is pretty lackluster compared to the official dock as well, because there's only one Type-C, one HDMI out, and one USB 2.0 port on the back of the dock. Now, I'm not a power user like your Smash Bros. Players who connect whole GameCube controllers on, and that have Wii U adapters and Wii adapters for GameCube controllers to plug into something like this. I do not have any of those controllers. I'm not a power user like that. I do all mine through wireless connectivity. So mostly what I use this port for is Ethernet. And Ethernet to USB adapter. I've got a review coming on that as well soon as well. But this right here is the single best accessory, like I said, that I've ever bought for my Switch, and that is simply because it allows the console to breathe. There's actually more space for the plastic housing on this, and my Switch is starting to slightly warp, and that is due to age and heat and all the other things. Now, this is technically a launch day console, even though I bought it about 4 months later. About 4 to 6 months after launch. This is still one of the original consoles that launched. That you can still do like hacking and stuff on. I still have one of those consoles. I don't know if, well, you can't see how this is, but right here along the top of the grill, it is starting to separate out from the rest of the plastic house is starting to separate out. But I haven't noticed any screen warping on my console. And that's one thing that I actually liked about this console, is, especially using this dock with it, is that it has just delayed my Switch warping due to the amount of heat coming out of this exhaust port, because it allows the console to actually breathe and just radiate the heat out the sides and stuff, whereas the official dock only allows it to come out through the exhaust. And I have actually noticed this, where when it's plugged into, whether it's this dock or the official one, after a certain amount of time, the fan will ramp up. Or a certain amount of time of play, or depending on the graphics of the game, it will ramp up the speed of the fan on the Switch. And I noticed that the fan on the Switch on the official dock would get so much hotter, so much quicker. I literally just had it sitting in the dock, not even in sleep mode, just sit on the home screen, no games running, nothing running in the background, just sit on the home screen, and it was outputting warm air. Versus where I had it plugged into this, doing the same thing, it wasn't really outputting. It was outputting room temperature air. Now, one thing to note about the Switch, and I noticed it with this dock and with the official one, is that as soon as you unplug the Switch from the dock, or you remove it from the dock, the fan will ramp up and start pulling more heat out. I do not know why that is a thing. When you remove it from the dock, it should not. It should be when it is in the dock, the fan should ramp up higher, because it has the extra power draw to allow it to cool. Whereas when it's on battery, it doesn't. But I think that has something to do with just the amount of heat passing through on the dock, and again, warping the Switch. And again, I haven't noticed that with this Switch. Now, it does have better ventilation versus the official dock. Whereas on here you have vent ports on the outsides, and if you look deep down in this crevice here, it's almost just all perforated ports. Versus the official one, where when you look down in the dock, there's just, and I'm going to be using the backside of this as an example for this, just a hole like right about here in the middle, or where the intakes on the Switch are. It's about the size of the intakes, and it sits on and it's just a little bit wider than the intakes on the Switch. Whereas this has these two big holes right here. There's nothing blocking it, whereas on the official one, you have your power cable, your HDMI, your USB 3.0 port blocking airflow. And then you also have the cover stifling airflow as well, whereas this does not have that issue. And again, that's one thing that makes it my favorite dock or accessory, because it allows my Switch to simply breathe as I'm using it. Now, it does come in, last time I checked 2 years ago, cheaper than the official one. If I remember correctly, it was about $40 cheaper, whereas the official one is 100 US. This was, if I remember correctly, it was either 50 or 60. I do not know, because I do not know if it's still being sold or not. Again, I got this 2 years ago. It may or may not still be sold. But again, if someone asks me for like a third-party dock, I always recommend them this, simply because it allows the Switch to breathe. I've had zero issues with this dock outside of, again, the issue of plugging it in, it not being able to charge, and then all you have to do is unplug the power from the dock. You don't remove the Switch from the dock. You leave the Switch plugged in. You remove the power from the dock. You plug it back in, and the Switch will pick it up instantly. You do not remove your Switch. I've tried it with the Switch removed and without the Switch with the Switch removed, and I came up with the same error. I did it with the Switch in, and the error cleared itself away. So, yeah. Oh, and another amazing feature that I forgot to add in is if you have your kickstand out and you plug it in to this dock, especially this dock, this kickstand does not break off. This back plate here holding the Switch, keeping the Switch from falling over too much, has just barely enough clearance on here for the kickstand to almost rest on this back piece here, giving you a little bit more extra stability, so to speak, or it may give you more stability, and you do not risk the kickstand actually popping off as you put in the dock, because this back plate, again, is just underneath the kickstand here for the Switch. Which, again, I always leave my kickstand out simply because I don't know if I'm going to be using this dock or if I'm going to be having it sit directly on the table. Now, my kickstand is messed up, as I have opened it up several times and have had issues opening it up and it actually popping off, or I've popped it off in the official dock that came with the console. And again, as long as you don't really move your console around, as long as the most that you're doing on this dock is just letting it sit there, it will be perfectly fine. Now, the official title for this dock, and I should probably mention this earlier, is the Insignia Nintendo Switch Travel Dock. Like I said, I do not know if this is still being sold or not. You can find it at Best Buy because Insignia is their in-house company, if I remember correctly. Magnolia is their home theater company, but for just about everything else, TVs and stuff, it is Insignia, and I absolutely love this. It's cheap. It feels like high quality, actually. It feels about the same plastic as, or a little better quality on the plastic versus the official dock as well. I actually have an issue with mine because mine is a European Switch, where the plug that came with it has a North American to European adapter. So, that is all for this video. Again, I cannot recommend this thing enough. I've actually had one of my Nintendo Switch groups on Facebook where they asked me for they asked in the group for a third-party dock. I recommended this one, and someone else actually chimed in on one of my comments, since it was years ago, so me being able to find it is nearly impossible. Where I suggested this dock, and the issues I had with it, and again, the only issue was related to not charging. Unplug the power from the dock, plug it back in, leave the Switch in, which probably fine. I had someone chime in and say, yeah, I was about to recommend this dock myself. I've had the same issues that you've had with it, and this fixes the same way. That was the only issue that they had as well. So, hey, it's positive. But if you're looking for a really, really good Switch dock on the cheap and you do like a lot of traveling, this is perfect because it's really, really small, really, really compact. It is wider than the official dock. Frankly, the official dock comes to about here on it. There should be a side by side, and the B-roll footage that that you should be seeing in the video. But again, this is literally the best dock I've ever used for the Switch. Again, the only other one having been used is the official one that Nintendo sells for the console itself. So, I'm going to leave this video here. If you like this video, please hit the like button down below. If you're new here, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I upload. Because I've got new content coming out hard and fast over the rest of the 2020. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.